Good evening, everybody. Thanks for jumping in. It's about 6:55, and so I'm just doing a quick test of audio. If you can hear me in the chat box, if you just want to send me a thumbs up, a smiley face, or you can type in "I can hear you," anything of that nature. That way, I know that I can hear you. You can hear me, and you have audio capabilities. So down at the bottom of the screen, there's the little text bubble or little bubble. You click on that, and then you can enter in, I can hear you, or you can give me a thumbs up. You can do a little picture, smiley face, something of that nature. Just tells me that you are able to hear me and that you have audio. So at the moment, thanks for joining us. We're going to start directly at 7. I promise not to keep you too long on a Sunday, albeit it's a little chilly out. At least it was sunny. And certainly we'll keep moving from there. So we'll jump in a few minutes and start. So again, if you can hear me and you're able to hear me, if you can give me some kind of indication, that would be great. And that I know that you are able to participate that way. Okay, everybody. Thanks for joining me this evening. I do know that a few were not able to join us. I know East Millsboro folks were not able to join us, and I'm and we'll be recording this for them. There is some basic information that I want to share with everyone in preparation for the end, obviously, of the year-long residency for the 17-18 in preparation, and of course moving into 18-19. And one really is just some dates. I know our agenda this evening is very brief. It's very clear. It's specific. I do have some information, very unique information to share, and I hope that is something that you can utilize, and we'll talk about that in more in a few minutes. Anyway, at the ending, obviously, as we come to a close of the residency, the date for our typical celebration, get-together dinner, if you will hopefully be in sometime in June. Typically, as we've tried to do it sometime in June after school is over in the evening. We're waiting for confirmation, one, on the restaurant, and two, on our funding source, obviously through NCTR, to ensure that we maintain a solid structure with the money that we receive, so that we can provide that opportunity. And in addition, obviously, along with that will be the welcome dinner that we always have at the beginning of the next residency for 18-19. Hopefully will be sometime in August, late August to maybe early September, very early before obviously anything really begins. And of course, that would be the same format. The issue here being location. We've gotten rather large, obviously, over the past few semesters. It's gotten tight to be at Roma's, and so we may need to for the fall, because we have approximately 30 individuals who will be participating in the year-long residency come fall 18. We may need to look at alternate location, but of course, information will go out to all about that. Anytime through this evening session, if you have any questions or you have anything that you need to ask, or if you have just something to say, please don't hesitate. Don't wait. Go ahead and either speak up, chime in, or if you want to text it out in the chat box, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. So we do have some specific areas to chat about this evening for our agenda, and then the last part, which is not on our agenda, is the new data system that we received from NCTR, and I'll be sharing that with you. So we will be administratively, I should say, first, let's start with some new items. We will be sending out another W-4 form to all mentor teachers. It's a new form that needs to be submitted and completed. And of course, that'll come out within the next couple of days. There's not a huge rush on this. It's not like something you have to be returned ASAP, but it would certainly be something, though, by August that we'll have to have in hand and signed and done. For our new mentor teachers who will be joining us, they'll go through the process of becoming an adjunct. There will be that requirement to prepare for and complete all those new applications, and I'll be communicating and meeting with new year-long residency mentor teachers individually, one through webinar and then also face-to-face in preparation for our all team meeting, which is both the candidates and the mentor teachers. There really aren't any other real major administrative items that need to be brought to your attention at this time. You should be receiving and have received your payment, obviously, through Wilmington University. I'm hoping everybody has, and if I'm not mistaken, you should have been paid for January, February, March, and April. So obviously that should have gone through. If not, as always, just connect with me individually, and I'll figure that reason as to why it wasn't done for you. We have a couple of documents that I'd love to share with you in terms of our work with the National Center for Teacher Residencies. Of late, we've been focusing in on revising what it is our candidates in working with the mentor teachers will do over the next couple of weeks into months, focused into the fall semester. And so I shared with everyone this document called the WILMU YLR gradual release document. This particular document details the roles of each the mentor teacher and the candidate beginning now, which is roughly May to June, or I should say May, June to August. And it's our our attempt to refine and provide explicit kind of conversation direction detail as to what should be happening with your candidate as you progress through the various months. Obviously June to August, then we go into September and October. But the idea here is that this explicitly identifies your role, what should be going on, what are the conversations that should be occurring in preparation for the fall timeline moving into September and October, and also what it is that the candidate should be doing. And within this kind of structure, this gradual release structure, the idea of modeling and mentoring and coaching obviously comes into play. And so I'm hoping that you've had the opportunity to review the document, to take a look at it, and I'm wondering if you have not, that's understandable. We'd love for you to take a look at it. But if you have, and does anybody have any questions about this document? Because it is something that we are adopting through NCTR and will be publishing on our website, because the year-long residency program will be having a website constructed within the next few weeks in which all of this documentation and details and so forth will be placed. So I just was curious if anybody had a chance to look at it, and if so, if you had any questions about the document itself. So going through the appropriate wait time here, as a good teacher would, if I'll just say one more time, if there's any specific questions that you have pertaining to this document, then please don't hesitate to ask. You can also email me at a later date if you hadn't had really a chance to look at it so far. This is something that we will, between for our all meeting, or all mentor teacher and all candidate, we will review this in detail as well, to ensure that all parties are understanding what the expectations are. Obviously, a lot of this is already what you do from day to day to day during the residency, but of course, there's always areas for refinement, and there's always areas for change if it's quality change, not just change's sake. And so we really want to make sure that all parties are aware and how this document works. So in addition to this particular document as well, is what we have defined, again, through our work with NCTR, and if I can bring up the document, that would be great, so just bear with me, is our vision of effective teaching. And I sent this as well, along with the invitation, obviously, to our meeting. And I'm hoping that everyone has had the opportunity to read this. If not, again, it's okay. But we want to take advantage of that when you can and read it and review it. This document, along with our intent and our proposition or value proposition statement that we've now created in 3 areas, one for mentor teachers, one for candidates, and one for the general public, will also be on our website. And this vision of effective teaching is aligned to what we call our conceptual framework here at Wilmington University College of Ed, and it's detailed here. So again, I'm not going to read the document, just bringing your attention to it, making sure that you can, and if you have not read it, please do so that it's aligned to who we are and our program. So those were the 2 main documents. There is a much more, obviously, that has been done over the past few months and weeks with National Center for Teacher Residencies. Now, of course, I can't show you to you right now because we don't have the actual website. However, in terms of marketing and outreach, we are and have within our internal structure here at the university focused on a specific pathway and purpose for the development of a website, the development of a communication plan, the development of an allowance of utilizing social media, yeah, Twitter, Facebook, so forth. And in terms of branding and who we are, in terms of trademarking WilMU logo, we are now moving very, very quickly towards a unified communication package that can go out to a variety of different individuals across not just the state, but also to different philanthropic organizations across the country, grant opportunities across the country. It's a branding, if you will. And so where we are right now in terms of our marketing and outreach is we have our logo, which I'll show you in a few minutes. It's something obviously internal. We're creating specific information sheets for our donors. We actually are now marketing to specific donors who want to provide money to Wilmington University for student scholarships for residencies. A clear communication plan, and this involves all people. We'll be sending this out to you because you may have communication that could be sent internally to be placed on the website and so forth. So we have a lot of very interesting possibilities with the marketing option. So that's, again, there's just one item within a variety of documents and work that's been completed over the past couple of weeks. Months. So this is our logo for the year-long teacher residency. We have it in black and white. It's also in color. And we're going to be beginning to utilize this in various forms and fashions, along with other catchy type of print and electronic media and so forth. So this is the basic logo that we'll be using in terms of communication, headers, memos and things like that. But in terms of how it's looks on digital, the website that I've gotten to be able to preview, it's just really neat. It's really, I don't know, I'm an old guy, so I'll say snazzy. It's really just really neat and looks really cool. So anyway, again, the updates to some other things with NCTR, we'll share at our all-call meeting. Just to bring you up to date, this is an example of what we are doing with NCTR. And so the website that I'm sharing with you right now, or I'm showing you, is the actual NCTR portal that we use to work within and for the partners, so what we're called a cohort 3 or seed 3 partners. And so if you recall, the survey that was sent out to during the mid-year to yourselves and the candidates is now accessible as a data portal through NCTR. And this is very interesting information. We'll go through it in more depth at the all-call meeting, but I just wanted to give you a taste as to what is now available to us and how much information now is at our fingertips. So, for example, what you're looking at right now is just a summary view. So we have a summary view. We have a residency. We can look at residency-specific data. We can look at our mentor, i.e. yourselves, and the information that you shared with us. And the information is related to the survey questions that were sent out to everyone. And what's nice about this is we had a response rate of 21 out of 24, which is very good, obviously. And as we move forward, you're going to be receiving, you saw my email, the end of year survey. Now that will also include building level administrators and district personnel. And we're also going to be sending it retroactively to our graduates from the last 3 years. 3 years from 14-15 onward, so we can capture additional information from them. And then as we stay a partner with NCTR, they meaning NCTR and the American Institute for Research, will we'll send out the surveys annually, mid and end, and we'll have longitudinal data on our program for as long as we're a partner with NCTR. And this information is very interesting. And as such, let me bring up the Mentor tab, and I'll share with you, actually, some information that was shared via the survey. Now, of course, this is all anonymous, right? And this was the way that the survey was set up. But in terms of two areas, mentor preparedness and mentor practices, as we go through, some of the questions in terms of the surveys, such as preparedness to be a mentor at this moment in year. And right now, if we look at this response, we're at a 3.4 out of 4. So if you look at this in a range of not prepared to being very prepared, 4 is best, 3 is good, 2 is average, right, and so forth. The nice thing about this is this gray line represents the global average. That means all of the partners across the country. At this particular time, we're above that. So we have a 6%, we're at a plus rate there. But if you look at this one in terms of residency program feedback, how effective is the residency program at preparing mentors? And here clearly indicated that we are not doing a very good job at that. And so this is information that is very essential to us. It's not punitive in nature. This is not what NCTR is saying. What we're saying here is we see a gap, and we now can address that gap in effective means, obviously, because what we want is all of you as mentor teachers to be very prepared to engage with the candidates. So this information, this portal, will share more during our all-call meeting. I just wanted to share with you, as we are getting a lot of this information back, how effective it is and what's our next steps in working with NCTR. So I'll stop for just a moment. Does anybody have any questions so far about the gradual release document, or the vision of effective teaching, or just even the data in terms of the portal that we have access now? Okay, so seeing that there are no questions, I'm just going to go ahead and move on. Like I said, trying to keep this as brief as possible on a Sunday, knowing that you all have, school tomorrow. We're all back in session. So, good question. Cindy asks, was written feedback provided as well as the range of data? So in terms of anecdotal, no, that not as of yet. We don't have access to that information. And in addition, at the end of year survey, there is opportunity for written feedback, the anecdotal component, especially with the principals, the school administrators. Oh, which is another exciting aspect, is that this communication and this portal eventually will show us the K-12 student achievement impact of the residency as well. So that's a great question, Cindy. I did not see that at this time, but they did indicate in the end of year survey, which will be coming out soon, there is opportunity in that survey to provide written feedback, and it will be on the portal. So, and again, if there are questions as you go along, just definitely share. Don't be shy. Where we are right now in terms of our communication with our candidates, I communicated, had a webinar with candidates last Sunday. During that webinar, we went over pretty much very much similar things, some administrative tasks on their end. These two documents as well. We shared and reviewed those documents with the students, especially the gradual release, and then sharing the following information with you all. With them, as I'm going to do now, which is our candidates should be reaching out to you now in terms of setting up conversation, setting up modes to communicate, cell, email, so forth. Establishing hopefully some school visitations between now and the end of the school year to see the population served, the children, and so forth. In terms of those visits, obviously it's communicating to you in a proper manner so that you can also schedule that, obviously with testing and other things that are occurring, field trips, end of the year activities. You want them to come in to see, the true environment, not on a day that it's, an activity day outside, or something of that nature. You want them to actually see engaging exercises. In terms of the start date, all of the candidates at this point in time are aware and have accessed each district's calendar and are aware of when they should be coming to you officially, which would be the very first teacher day back. However, as most of our veteran year-long residency mentor teachers have and do understand, that is usually typically not the first day that you're there. And so, and I mean, as such, our candidates need to be there with you as well. So if they are, if you are starting prior to that initial date, then of course they should be there as well. So that's something, of course, that connects. That aligns to the mentor-teacher communication. Those candidates should be communicating to you now, and if they have not yet, you need to let me know, please, so that we can begin to request and communicate that they need to be doing that. Now, where I did break off to some extent, which is the meetings, the summer meetings, so that you're all aware that our candidates have a face-to-face meeting May the 14th. So that'll be our first face-to-face meeting with just candidates. So that's just candidates only, not mentor teachers. And then our new mentor teacher candidates on the 17th, or I should say the new mentor teachers on the 17th, will be having a webinar with myself. Also in June the 14th, just new mentor teachers only. Leading up to our June 25th, all mentor teacher and all candidate meeting, in which we'll have an agenda. It'll be a host of information, activities, and exercises ranging from a review of co-teaching practices, coaching, mentoring, and guiding, to some new data and information that is pertaining to NCTR. Obviously, like I said, in August, late August to feasibly the early part of September, we'll have that welcome dinner. And again, that's up in the air. We're just looking for confirmation of maybe a feasible, like I said, a different location. So beyond that, right now it's just our preliminary update and an opportunity to ask any questions in preparation as one is shutting down and we're preparing to start up, say, the next year. Does anybody have any questions? So if none, which is fine, that's not a problem, promising to keep this short and sweet and under a half an hour or close to it almost, which is perfect. I appreciate you jumping in this evening. As we progress between now and the 25th, I'll be sending out some other information, some recordings, not tutorials, but more so informational recordings on data, the data that's related to the portal that are shared with you, so that you can review that, get a feel for the information. I'll be sending out some statistical reports through that portal, which we can do that now to all of you in preparation for our meeting on the 25th, so that we can be all on the same page. So I appreciate your time this evening. Again, trying to keep it short and sweet. If there are no questions, I'll say thank you and have a great evening. And of course, I will stay on until everyone is gone. And if you have any questions that you prefer to ask offline or, of course, individually, I'm happy to do that as well.